on this unabating wave of insecurity in the north. Let's now join, we're being joined in our Lagos studio by the retired Deputy Inspector General of Police. He's also one of the leading crusaders of community policing in Nigeria, Mr. Marvel Akpoyibo. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, would you say that Nigeria is in a security dilemma right now?
Of course, yes. There's no better way to say it. That we're in a dilemma. It is very worrisome that we have gotten to this stage, and it's most unfortunate. And unless something very, very urgent is done, if it deteriorates, then it will be terrible. It has assumed a very worrisome dimension, and everybody should be concerned about it.
But there are concrete steps that are being taken. I mean, we have the police telling us they're arresting suspects, banditry, they're bombarding several units in Zamfara and these other areas. But then, as much as they're gaining grounds, there are also all of these other insecurity coming in from other areas as well. What is happening to the strategies?
Well, it's not just enough. Of course, yes, can make some gains in some areas. And don't forget, we're looking at the map of Nigeria, not just one community. So if you are able to tame crime in some areas and other areas are burning, you can't say you have fully succeeded. But I think they're making some effort. But I think the government needs to come up with more positive measures.
So the thing is, I mean, when you say positive,
yes.
they've budgeted amount of money, they have security votes. What more?
Yeah, I have always said that it's not just the sole responsibility of the Nigerian police force to ensure the safety of lives and property. It is it's also the responsibility of the communities, members of the public, to partner with the police to ensure the safety of lives and property. And this is very, very fundamental. And this is this is the hallmark of intelligence-led policing. Until you embark on intensive intelligence-led policing, you are just being reactive in your approach to policing methodology that will not yield any positive results.
You talked about members of the public, which
yes.
also brings to mind what happened in the Zamfara school kidnap, for example. They say the police responded to the distress call, but then how fast did they get there to repel and prevent the abductions? How long does it take for the police to respond to a distress call?
Yes, I have always said this. Responding to distress calls has to do with reactive kind of policing. And there must be a shift from that pattern of policing to proactive method of policing. You talk about distress call when the act is already being committed, okay? But when you talk about a proactive method of policing, you gather intelligence about the location of the criminals, their modus operandi, their takeoff point, their strength, and all that you need. And then you move again. You take the battery to the enclave before they have the opportunity of coming to carry out their act. That is intelligence-led policing. And that's where the members of the public must come in, because they are the primary target. So they must partner with the police, and they have a constitutional responsibility to partner with the police to ensure the safety of lives and property.
One question would be how much faith the members of the public have in the police force to trust them enough to supply all this information to enable them curb all of this that's happening. But one way the House of Representatives has said is perhaps a state of emergency in some of these areas. What do you think?
Well, I don't know what you call state of emergency. I don't know. Is it that nothing was being done before the act, or we just woke up from slumber? Why do we need to wait until a state of emergency is declared? I have always said this thing, that the consequences of violent crimes are usually irreversible. So if you allow a violent crime to be committed, lives have been lost, and you are going about declaring a state of emergency, does it make any sense? I don't know what it means. So I think that what we should do as a nation is to ensure that sufficient intelligence is put on the table. The policemen, the security agents know exactly where these people are, and then they go after them and pick them up before they carry out their solid operation. That is the approach that
You would take.
I will subscribe to.
Now, let's look at perhaps welfare of police officers. Is that still an issue? How much more do we need to boost the morale of our officers?
Yeah, the welfare of the police is a factor. Because if the policemen are not well motivated, you can't expect much from them. Yes, you can increase their salary, tangentially, but say by 10,000 naira or 20,000, as the case may be. If they are living in squalor, that will not make any meaningful impact. And you and I know that crime has become more sophisticated than ever before. The criminals have very highly sophisticated weapons. So the police must be correspondingly equipped with sophisticated weapons to be able to contend with them. Even the military, they, as sophisticated as they are, sometimes they find it difficult to penetrate some areas. So you can imagine what will become of the police that are less equipped than So it goes beyond just increasing salary minimally. Address the issue of their accommodation. If they die or anything happens, this social injury, during combat situation, what happens and all that. These are, it's the whole package you must look at holistically, not just addressing the issue of salary and then you go to sleep that you have improved their welfare, and so they should go and give you a result.
How would you rate the quality of Nigeria's intelligence network? And that's also amongst other, sister agencies.
Yeah, I would say it is very, very poor. It is poor in the sense that if we have proper intelligence network, we should be able to take the battle to the camp of the adversary. Because the intelligence failure sometimes, they succeed in carry out the kidnap or killing or armed robbery and all that before you see security agents going reactively to go after the felons. That ought not to be so. And that's the reason why we must emphasize, intense partnership with members of the public, with the police, because the police cannot be everywhere, at all times. But the members of the public, they are everywhere. So if they serve in that capacity to get intelligence across to the police early enough, they will be able to stop most of these criminal activities before they are committed.
So perhaps make members of the public special constables?
Not necessarily making them special constables. If you look at the Constitution, if you look at Section 24, E of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it provides that it shall be the responsibility, the duty of every citizen, to render assistance to appropriate and lawful security agents in controlling crime. So you don't need to become a special constabulary before you can pass information across to the police for effective management of crime in the area. Like I was CP in Lagos State, I adopted it and it worked. I made my DPOs and my DCOs to go out, as if they were Jehovah's Witnesses. Write out your name and your phone numbers and go from one house to the other. If there's any crisis, please call me and all that. And we built this trust, this level of confidence. And everybody, was like a CCTV camera for the police. Before anything happened, we were alerted, and it worked, and Lagos became very, very secure, So I think if we bring in the members of the public on board, if they are willing to partner with us within the framework of community policing, I think it will make a tremendous impact.
We'd like to thank you so much, retired DIG Marvel Akoyebo, for joining us on the program. Well, a group known as Concerned Indigents of Wukari, they're calling on the federal government, European Union, United Nations, as well as the government of Taraba and Benue states to, as a matter of urgency, assist in halting the incessant attacks on Wukari local government area of Taraba state. Now, the group led by Pius Sagbo, he alleged that armed militias from the neighboring Benue state attacked Wukari local government area, which is a border town, with the sole aim of causing disaffection. Now, Mr. Pius, while commending the government of Taraba and Benue states for their timely efforts for bringing the ugly situation under control, he has also asked the federal government to deploy more security personnel to the affected communities and to those vulnerable to the attacks. The River State government, they have commenced the disbursement of interest-free loans to civil servants and will be commencing the second phase of the empowerment scheme of 200 million naira monthly to traders and entrepreneurs. Well, according to the Commissioner of Information, Imaoka, and the Special Advisor to the Governor on Political Matters, Glory Eme, after the State Executive Council meeting in Port Harcourt, River State. Meanwhile, the government has moved to prosecute those found culpable by the Commission of Inquiry into the alleged looting of over 35 billion naira of the state's Integrated Medical Industries Limited for the manufacturing of auto syringes. This is also involving some officials of the previous administration. Elsewhere, the federal government is set to empower over 10,000 farmers in Kogi State through agro-processing, productivity enhancement, and livelihood improvement support, while at a stakeholders advocacy and sensitization workshop organized by Management of Appeals Project for farmers in Lokoja, the state capital. The state coordinator said that over 200 billion naira has been set aside to assist 6 states, including Kogi, and vigorously encourage and motivate small-scale farmers so as to enable them realize their potentials of exporting farm produce to other countries. Let's quickly tell you the 2019 appropriation bill. It passed third reading, completed its journey in the House of Representatives, and the House had on Tuesday considered and adopted the report of its Committee on Appropriation with slight amendments. Well, that same day, the Senate had passed the bill and adjourned for a week. A clean copy of the bill can now be sent to the President for assent. Well, that's how we wrap things up on the program. We'd like to thank you for watching. Don't forget you can join the discussions on our social media platforms at CTV, channel CTV that is, at CTV Politics, #LTP Lunchtime Politics. I'm Millicent Walker. I'll see you soon.